Oh dear, the look of that pretty face of yours, just delightful. I'm so sorry, my dear, I didn't mean to startle you. Accept my apologies. Are you okay? There is no need to worry, my friend. The danger is gone. Cordelia won't disturb us in a while. I made sure of that. After all, I'm very good at negotiation with creatures like her. Listen, there's even more interesting beings living under this roof. You should be careful and try to know everything you can from this place if you are going to be walking around these halls. But worry not, I'm here to guide you. There is something special I want to show you, but it's hidden in the halls. Shall we explore a bit more? Follow me, little sprout. It won't be long. I tell you a few other stories and secrets of the people who work at this place while we explore. A good deal, don't you think? Having a big house means hard work cleaning it, not worthy. Since the beginning of time, the arcanists have tried to reach out and study the mysteries of other planes of existence. There's many wizards that have specialized in this investigation of other realities and how they are aligned. Trying to decipher the very fabric of reality, some cases they fall into madness after the chaos of existence breaks any chance to find order in an ever-changing multiverse. On the other hand, some other plane researchers find peace in the hidden tempo that beats in the shadows, weaving a secret order in the organized entropy that surrounds us. Yes, there are many secrets waiting to be discovered in other planes. However, not many stories and adventures deviate too much of the most known legends in this plane of existence. There is heroes and villains, sacred kings, forbidden rules, secret organizations, and even mundane life in every plane. In the case of the next inhabitant of the Academy, we can see how many legends can become quite mundane when you are living in another reality. Ridizzo the Lustrous is the main butler at the Academy. For most of the students, he is nothing but a common merit, a genie from the water plane, conjured to work and serve other mages. He is the head of all the staff at the Academy. Most of their staff consist of minor elementals such as methods or invisible servants. Many of them follow orders directly from Ridizzo, who likes to take his job seriously, making sure the whole tower service is ready and sharp. Ridizzo's diligence can result in a severe and disciplinary aptitude towards the other elementals or members of the staff who are led with a clock's precision. He is also the ruler of all the water circuits and pipe systems. His power controlling water can extend to every part of the tower using the boilers near the subterranean dungeons and his office and personal room, where a giant tank was placed so he can live near water at all times and perform his duties without abandoning his post. However, not many students can see through his proud and even arrogant persona. Behind his snobbish and grumpy personality lies a backstory that only the Archmage and a few others know. Originally from Perlavisi, one of the biggest cities in the Regno Visale kingdom, Ridiccio the Lustrous was one of the most ambitious members of the court of the Abyssal king. As many other noble genies, Ridiccio only seek fame, fortune and prosperity. He perceived himself as a good ruler with a promising career. But all his plans to dethrone the king and claim the throne to himself were interrupted by the uncovering of his intentions by the spies of another noble married. He saw himself forced to leave the court and seek revenge. He became ruthless and cruel. His ambitions have no limit and nothing would be important enough to stop his goals. He seek conspiracies who play in his favor. He gained allies in his revolutions and reclaimed all favors or blackmailed former friends in order to obtain enough power to strike back. He quickly became one of the most dangerous warmongers in the water plane, destroying villages, extorting families and reducing everything to dust. He took advantage of the rivalry of the neighbor kingdom and exploited their difference in order to orchestrate a war between nations. He used chaos and war to become wealthy, using other people's despairs and loss. Ridiccio the Lustrous was indeed a villain, and like many villains of this kind of story, he was hunted down. After many years of war and destruction, Ridiccio was betrayed by his servants and advisors. He was taken into the courtroom of the Abyssal Court where the king sentenced him to an eternity being in prison. And by that sentence, Ridiccio's fate was sealed along with his essence into a magic crystal. That's how the fear and powerful merit was confined into a tiny crystal no bigger than a marble. And that's how the legend of Ridiccio, Lord of the Deep War, ended. All this until hundreds of years later, a very special visitor arrived at the tower carrying presents for the Archmage, one of them being a little marble made of deep blue colored crystal resembling an indigo pearl. When the Archmage inspected the jewel, they discovered its secret, releasing Ridiccio from his everlasting prison. Nobody knows what happened after. The identity of the visitor who gave the Archmage the crystal is unknown, along with how they obtained the married tiny prison or what kind of pact was signed, obliging Ridiccio to work as a butler. But one thing is common knowledge: it doesn't matter how mundane any kind of job, one should never be disrespectful. After all, you may never know if your butler was imprisoned by being a menace in another plane of existence. Scars are a reminder of your suffering, that's why I prefer makeup. It's not rare that the path of the arcane arts is filled with ambition. The promises of the magic can lure the ones whose hearts are filled with need for power, knowledge, and talent. A promise like that can pursue anyone willing to pay in discipline, hours of study, experimentation, and practice in order to gain the power they seek. In the tower there's many examples of these paths, although not every soul living in the academy is fooled by ambition, and that's the case of Augustus Hornoak. The gardener and groundskeeper at Mercury Tower. For many people, Augustus seems a peaceful and calm half-orc working every day at the gardens and greenhouse, with a silent presence and a strange melancholy in his eyes. Some of the students notice the strange vein-like scars surrounding half of his face and hand. A few of them try to guess its origins. Maybe it was a disease or an old wound. Some others with more vivid imagination suggested that the scars look more like a curse than a disease. And in a way, their speculations were right. Not many people know this to his reserved nature, but Augustus Hornoak was an experienced adventurer back in the day. He was a mercenary ranger and skilled hunter. He spent his days going from bounty to bounty, living his life on the road and sometimes spending more time in the woods instead of amongst other people. However, that didn't mean he didn't like to work with others. Augustus found new partners to share the road with, an elf paladin called Civis and a young human wizard called Layton. Together they travel, explore new kingdoms and work together as mercenaries. Civis followed the oath of her ancestors and many elven people did, offering her help in order to aid the weak and protect the sacred forest and abandoned ruins in order to preserve the lost memory. Layton studied necromancy at the academy, and he was traveling around the world in order to finish his research on necrotic plants to find new types of medicine before returning back to the academy and graduate. As for Augustus, he only wanted to hunt and explore the rest of the world. After a few months of adventure, they end up investigating the mysterious apparition of light plants in a supposedly sacred forest. After venturing themselves in the deepness of the woods, the group found a circle of druids formed by Filbors, discovering that a vampire lord started the invasion of the forest, creating the blight a year ago. The druids have been defending the forest since then. Civis, however, insisted on finding the vampire lord and killing him in order to save the forest, although the druids warned the group that he was a powerful and cunning vampire and his blight army a true menace. Both the ideals and pride of the group were high, and the possible reward too tempting to disown them, and soon they paid in blood the cost of their arrogance. The blight creatures ambushed them, and the group weren't lucky enough to not fall in the battle. After a few days unconscious, Augustus woke up in the Filbor tribe, gravely injured in the side of his body, although the great pain of his injury was nothing compared to the pain he felt after discovering that Layton was found dead while Civis disappeared in the forest. Surrounded by grief and sorrow, Augustus spent a whole month recovering from his wounds before he could even walk again. He trained with the druids of the circle and quickly learned things about the forest that he ignored on his many years of adventure. One night Augustus had a dream where he found Layton in his memories. Guilt, rage and regret was the only thing that he could express up to the memory of his lost friend. However, Layton comforted him and asked him to find the mother seed of the blight and bring it along the grimoire to the tower in order to finish his investigation. When Augustus woke up, it wasn't guilt or pain that he felt, but hope and determination. He asked the head of the circle to help to avenge his friend, to which they accepted. Augustus and the matriarch of the druid circle traveled to the very heart of the forest, where they found the original seed of the blight army being guarded by Civis, now almost unrecognizable with clear signs of vampirism around her body. That's when Augustus discovered how the elven paladin was an oath-breaker and she betrayed them in order to save his vampire lord. The battle was a fierce one. He finally took down Civis, retrieving the mother seed in the process. After that, Augustus went his way to find the vampire lord and finish his revenge story, but that story he prefers to keep to his own. But everyone knows what happened next. Augustus arrived at the doors of the academy. His strong body had been weakened by a strange blood disease who leached from his life energy. His hair had no wet strike, and his sight carried too many sad songs to even begin to decipher what his story was. He entered with a grimoire under his arm, asked to stay there and finish his friend's research, offering his skills at treating plants as payment. Since then, the interior gardens and quality of the herbal supply of Mercury Tower gained a very experienced yet melancholic ward, who likes to sigh sometimes while doing his work in silence and contemplation, and a little bit of hope of his eyes when he's thinking about certain old memories. Careful with the sweets, sometimes they lead you to a scary witch. Everybody knows that the art of magic isn't only about reading heavy tomes full of dust in dark hallways until dawn. The real secrets of the arcane arts reside in the very mystical moments that surround us. Not many wizards will admit this, but the magic needs to be practiced, not only studied. The members of the academy are encouraged to gain real-world experience once in a while before trying to pass their final exams. It's customary that even they make a journey to study outside the walls of the tower about the subject they want to base their research paper on in order to pass the final exam. However, even making quick trips in the meantime or traveling across the lands to attend personal affairs or visit their families, many students don't go any further outside the terrains of the academy. Nevertheless, a good wizard studied at the academy will need many resources besides books, parchment, and ink. Fortunately, Mercury Tower has a great source for any kind of material, common or rare, so the research doesn't get stuck by the lack of materials or ingredients. At least if you can afford the right price. Changing places from time to time to set up her little shop, Mildred runs the magic supplies and apothecary. For many new students, old Mildred is nothing but an elder woman with a certain eerie seeming around her. Most of the newcomers will pay no mind to this subtle clue. They rather think she's nothing but an eccentric elder woman who collects herbs and has spent enough time working at the academy that has adopted a weird yet lovable behavior. However, the most experienced students will be cautious when doing groceries or replenishing their supplies. Most of them know Mildred to be a skilled merchant who won't hesitate to take the best chance to profit in a good deal while bargaining. Nevertheless, the few students that have crossed paths with her in the lowest terms know the real danger of making deals with her. Since not many people truly know the danger to making a deal with the Fae. Pantagruelic Mildred Cradlebriar is a green hag who loves a bargain of any type. She has traveled for many planes of existence in order to strike good deals and benefit herself in the process. Unfortunately, her motives to stay in the academy with his little shop of horrors is unclear, but the few people that know her real nature rest easier once they learn that a deal with the Archmage forbids her to harm in any way the people in the tower. However, old Cradlebriar knows how to twist any loophole in any deal or contract. The Fae don't like to be insulted, and they take retribution in a very serious way, and Mildred is no exception. Usually, the only risk of buying any magical supply in her shop is to be tricked with the price or any other detail. Maybe she will try to trick any student with trap sales or discounts subjected to shady conditions. But once the newcomers learn the right way to deal with Mildred, the dangers of obtaining daily materials is nothing but a minor nuisance. The green hag lady doesn't mind, she only likes to treat her customers as a hobby or entertainment, at least with the common goods she commerces with. On the other hand, Mildred has a special batch of more rare items that the students can purchase in her store. Items that became very popular or even legendary among students, such as love potions, special monocles to read faster, or a quill that can write messages that only the writer can read. These items will usually cost a little fortune, but Mildred likes to describe herself as a generous provider, creating unique offers customized for each of her customers. You can pay a little price in gold each week along with a strange but affordable interest. Maybe the memory of your last dream, an object borrowed by someone you hate, a strand of your own hair, or the color red present in your next dessert. Yes, Mildred is very versatile when it comes to finding value in many little things we see as worthless or common. But that's the catch that many Fae like to use when bargaining with mortals. Mildred especially likes to find poetic justice created specifically for each and one of the students. Maybe the price came with a sudden extra condition like not being able to see the color green ever again. Or maybe the very item you purchased was enchanted, making you forget a whole week of study just the night before the exam. Of course, any of these special conditions are not inherently dangerous for the people living at the tower, although the consequences can create dramatic situations beyond any common inconvenience. Of course, many teachers and the staff knew about this risk, but they agreed that these little obstacles weren't dangerous enough to address the situation with Mildred. Also, it will teach the newcomers to not let their guard down. Many principles in the study of the arcane arts have parallelism with commerce. After all, to know how to make a good deal is the base for many spells. When you smile too much, people ignore that you have bigger plans. Many people arrive at Mercury Tower looking forward to learn something. Most of the wizards are here to study magic and become expert arcanists, while other people arrive at the tower only to expand their political power and social influence. A few others arrive at the tower looking for answers with a heart full of secrets. However, it doesn't matter their goals. The Academy is a place where many answers lie hidden in every corner, but most importantly, for many people, Mercury Tower is a place that they call home. Indeed, the Academy hosts many challenges, difficulties, or even dangers, but many people agree that there is even greater rewards, chances to learn and wonders that will make the effort worthwhile in the end. One of those magic wonders is one of the most important members of the staff, the very heart of the Academy, Praline Vanilhart. She is the official chef and head maid of the kitchens of the Academy. She works closely with Redizzo to make sure the service related to the food and menus are perfect and delicious. For many people, she seems like a gnome or a halfling with extravagant clothes working at the kitchen. All this until they notice her crackled porcelain skin, giving her nature away as a porcelain doll. Not many people know about these small constructs. At a single glance, they seem like a living porcelain doll, but the few familiarized with the race know that they are quite rare. Created using a special mineral used as a magic heart, the porcelain dolls can replicate or feel the most exquisite emotions, making the constructs perfect for maids, babysitters, nannies, or playmates. However, a few other people like to create these dolls with any kind of materials to create a perfect artisan specialized in a few talents. In the case of Praline, she was created by a wizard who likes to study the magic applications in food and high cuisine. Praline and her sisters were created to become the greatest chef in the land. That's why, after creating a career of her own, she decided to travel to find new flavors and experiment with arcane options in her craft. Then, she visited the Mercury Tower where her creator studied when she was young. She decided to stay, offering her service at the Academy. For many students, Praline is a member of the staff they can count on with. She is always attentive, calm, and has a natural sweet demeanor to other students. She is also diligent and even perfectionist while she is working. After all, she is in charge not only to create the menus but lead and supervise the other kitchen staff such as other students that help at the kitchen or minor elementals. While she is working, Praline seems to be a conductor leading an orchestra. Plates and ingredients float around, candles and fire breathe accordingly to the right heat necessary to every recipe. Maybe she's a little performatic, but that's the usual for her principles. After all, she's not only cooking to feed the inhabitants of the tower, she's creating art. When she's not busy in the kitchen, the porcelain doll likes to walk around the gardens to see which fruit and vegetables are in season to be inspiring for creating the menus months in advance. She also likes to make sure that all the members of the kitchen staff are well taken care of. Many students didn't even meet her or pay attention to her, but she doesn't mind at all, as long as she's able to experiment and finish her research and be able to take care of the other members of the kitchen staff that she considers as a family, she will be fine. After all, she perfectly knows that a heart can only beat accordingly if it's fed correctly. You will thank me later for helping you escape her. For many people, the tower isn't only an academy where they spend a few years while studying to perfect their arcane skills. The gates of the tower are open for everyone who seeks knowledge, even in the most casual and singular ways. The academy is a place of learning, and if someone has the right permissions, they can come to the tower in order to find the answers they need. Maybe consulting any of the magic experts that teach or study at the tower, or even consulting the many grimoires and documents in the arcane library. However, even the academy welcoming anyone to learn in this place, that doesn't mean that aren't rules or protocols about how to access certain information, especially when it comes to moving around the hallways of the library, where she keeps a close eye on those who have uncertain intentions. Cordelia is the librarian of the archive in the Mercury Tower. Her duties go to archive, organize and supervise the state of all the tomes in the library, to even act as a guardian in these hallways, where she reigns with a stern hand with iron rules that must be followed by anyone that wants to use the service of the archive. If the discipline and severity of those rules doesn't inspire enough respect among the students, the fact that Cordelia is one of the eldest face spiders in the world will do the trick. As a face spider, Cordelia has the capacity to move through the ethereal plane and ours at will. The fact that she could appear suddenly at your back crouching in a menace pose with her sharp legs and a cold look at her face paints a scary enough picture in some of the newcomers that meet the librarian for the first time. However, the only thing that they must do in order to not get on her bad side is just follow her rules, respect the protocol, and treat the books and documents properly. Using her skills to protect the books, Cordelia has weaved many tapestries of cobwebs around the ceiling and walls of the library, which work as a network of information and security system, alerting her if there's some aggressive or suspicious moves around the hallways. That's why these cobwebs glow with a subtle bluish light in the dark. They are made of ethereal thread. Another curiosity is that some areas of the library are relocated on the ethereal plane, allowing Cordelia to keep special or dangerous books out of the more casual or inexperienced hands. Only the students with a special permission of the professors are allowed to check those books. The legend says that the higher are the books in the bookshelf, the more valuable they are. That's why the cobweb tapestry is more elaborated the closer you get of the ceiling. As another member of the staff, she is also responsible to deal with all the request consultations and applications referring to any of the books, which she hates due to her disdain for most of the students at the academy. For that, she likes to take the few students that are less annoying to deal with as apprentice. While she's not organizing books or tormenting those who break the rules of the archive, she likes to rest in her room drinking the most expensive tea and treasuring her collection of unusable keys. One of the most valuable secrets at the academy is that you can bribe the 8-legged librarian if you offer her a key to her collection, but to this day, not many people have been able to find a key valuable enough to tempt Cordelia with it. In fact, not many people have achieved this quest in her many years working and living at the tower, and that's a considerable time keeping in mind that she is one of the eldest creatures at the academy. Many documents about the tower indicate that she lived through the administration of a few archmages, making it almost impossible to decipher her actual age. But who would dare to find those answers? After all, those documents are well guarded by the very same librarian that likes to keep her information private. And there you go, those are the members of Mercury Tower staff. If you ask me, it seems pretty difficult to be born in this place, don't you think? And there is still a special secret I wanted to share with you. This is a very special key. As you noticed, Cordelia is very fond of collecting keys. She can take a key and know exactly what it can open. One of her many talents. However, if you hand her a very old key that cannot open anything, she will bargain to take it as a new treasure. That's how I get rid of her in the first place. Also, she gets very distracted by her new trinkets, so it was very easy to borrow this other special key. Now, we can know more about this very special information regarding this place. What do you think? Do you wanna share a last adventure with me before leaving? It's decided then. One of the last round of gossip and secrets. I can't wait. Be a good friend and wait for me. I'm gonna see if they are onto us. In the meantime, you can always like this video or share it with your friends, or even you can subscribe to my channel. Don't go anywhere, little sprout. I can't wait to discover what treasures are hidden between these walls.